I am a good person because I'm spiritual. I am a good person
I swear to God.
that I'm a good person because I'm spiritual. Yes, I want to talk about being raised in a cult, being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and cults in general, and how easily you can fall back into going back to a cult and in another cult as well. I'm going to talk about an experience that I had falling from one cult into the other. So, as you may know, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Well, the idea of being a Jehovah's Witness is a spiritual community, organization that is being governed from above. They have their own society, basically, because they live away from society. They live away from society and they do things in their own way, and they try to hide things from the real world. For instance, they have elders that are deciding over people's future within the organization. And we have the governing body as well. That is like the higher up people that have been chosen, like almost the UN people of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they decide what is going to happen. And yeah, like what is going to, yeah, those people decide that, for instance, you cannot smoke, you cannot like bad things are being discussed by the elders in your area. Some people are coming to you and they try to get out of you what you had done. And so, for instance, smoking or like some bad things that you did that are against the religion, or against the cult, and then you could be disfellowshipped. For instance, that is a thing that they can do, disfellowship you from your area, and people cannot talk to you anymore. May it be kids, may it be a partner, and people feel very betrayed because their partner betrays them, and then they get disfellowships, which means that they are not allowed to come back to the organization unless they are really bettering their life and it was just a one-time thing. They feel regret for doing what they did. Usually it's very hard that the police, sometimes things happen that police have to get involved, and it's very easy to like they let things happen within an organization or like a cult, and it just stays there. They want to bring people in and it stays there. We're only going to talk about it here or not, never ever going to talk about it. Because what if you are being like shunned, disfellowshipped, or whatever, betrayed by your peers, so-called brothers and sisters. And I've seen that in front of myself as well. I've seen it in front of me, that someone that I love dearly was smoking, became an alcoholic eventually because he was feeling so sad, so bad, because he was really trying to be a good Christian person. Even in this case, a Jehovah's Witness. This person was disfellowshipped and shunned, and he felt so extremely betrayed by his own wife and by the organization, the Jehovah's Witness organization, that he never wanted anything to do with them anymore. But then he started to like believe in Jehovah in his own way and never came back. And it can go this far. It can be really mind wrecking. It can be wrecking and like so painful that people are not want to, like, they think that they're doing a good thing. They think that they are being a good Christian person. Usually it's like basically all the time it's a religious thing. It starts off with people wanting to start a community, and then it becomes religious. It can be in another way, and it's the idea of that being spiritual, religious is a good thing, and it can be, but it can also go the other way, and that's where we see a cult happening. There are so many types of cults. There are some practices that are very, like, it's out of the ordinary. Usually the people think that they it's like people can start their own church, like their own communities, their own spiritual communities, and whatever. All those types of things, they can really bring people in for whatever reason, that they can pay, that they can control people, that they can pay them, that they can have you know, sexual, like extreme sexual behaviors, for instance, or like convictions that are extreme and that are different from the rest, and maybe in a good way. Maybe it's better that they are seen as kind of weird and strange according to others, because they're doing things that are not right, and people need to be convicted and put in prison and be seen by the police instead of like out there somewhere isolated. That is where terrible things can happen, and where mind control, manipulation, all those types of things can happen for young and old people as well. And it also happens when people are feeling like usually weak. They're looking for themselves. They're weak. They are not strong in their own convictions, and that is where people try to come in. People are searching for it as well, and then the right people find them. Like they're a prey. They're weak. And then and spirituality is a very good way to manipulate someone, or like get closer to a person. As a Jehovah's Witness, I wanted to be completely free to figure out my own life. What I stumbled upon was like eventually several years ago. It's quite a while ago. I got into New Age spirituality a lot. I was already like I had an affinity. Like I was drawn by spirituality already back in the day when I was like 18 maybe. It was interesting to me. Like I thought that I saw, like never know. I just say I thought. I thought I saw like auras, and I was meditating. I was doing yoga. I had dreams that were like almost unreal, that and they happened. Like I could see things happening in the future. I was interested in crystals and in signs, astrological signs, some cards, tarot cards. Online, I started to join spiritual groups. I was going to spiritual gatherings, like these meditation evenings with people, like red, like, how do you say that? Like red nights, the full moon nights and stuff for meditation, for yoga, to talk to women, like women only nights, and which are actually interesting, like fun nights as well. It was fun to, or like fun. It was nice that you could actually talk to one another, and you were there to not be judged. And later on, I experienced things that weren't that fun. It was pretty bad later on. Like several years ago, I wanted to talk about that. Some people that are in the news quite frequently recently from the spiritual world are Jeff and Shaleia from Twin Flames Universe, which I also followed because I thought at some point that I found my own twin flame. Not because of them. They never told me that I found my twin flame. That is something that I thought that I had found. Twin flames is the idea of finding the balance between your inner masculine and feminine energies, finding the union with God within them, or like in spirituality, twin flames is not necessarily meant, or like a spiritual journey is not necessarily meant to find your physical representation, or your masculine or your feminine side, but it's about like moving back to you and your convictions. But if people usually think that they are finding their twin flame, think that the other person is supposed to heal them, or usually at the beginning of a spiritual journey, things like this happen. People think that they found their divine lover, because it's always in the idea of that it's divine, it's spiritual. I'm a good person because I'm spiritual. Finding your divine lover and finding union within yourself, especially first. But usually you find this person, or you think you found this person. That is what they believe in. This can also be a famous person, but usually that is because they feel that they want something from them, or they're looking for whatever. It can be a very parasocial experience, and it can be with a person that you know already. It can be with a famous person as well. So Jeff and Shaleia are in in the media now as well. They're doing interviews as well because they are preaching that they have a union, like a divine union, that they are like perfectly in balance with themselves, basically, and also with each other, so that they found each other as twin flames under the divine union with God or with the universe or whatever people believe in. Usually it's a very, what I've seen was not necessarily a very like a religious union, but a very eclectic union when it comes to twin flames. I've been like arms deep. I've been arms deep into this experience. So New Age spirituality, which is usually more capitalistic, it's not that much about the love. Like people want to preach it, like the hippie type of Ibiza love, but it's not that. It's not that. So getting back to twin flames, it's people think that they found their twin flame lover or their soulmate or whatever, and they start harassing the other person. And they call it like the running and chasing of the other person. So the other person is running because you are chasing the other person, because you have to look within yourself, which is a good aspect, a good thing to do in your life. You really have to. But it's usually people that are like in their 30s and 40s, 50s. Oh, why would that be? You know, usually it's a midlife thing that people believe in. They think they've found their twin flame, and then they start harassing a person, and they say like, yeah, but he's running away, but they think they should get their twin flame, and that's not true. Usually, I have seen in front of me a very abusive relationship that was so called a twin flame relationship. A lot of people, a lot of spiritual people, like maybe leaders, say that their twin flame, the people's twin flames are coming. They're doing tarot readings, they're doing other like spiritual readings or whatever, and like maybe crystal readings, healings to get them closer to hopefully shed what's within the person and can find a twin flame. And people can believe whatever they want, but if it goes to harassing people, people are unaliving themselves, or they are like falling in love with people in a prison, and they're not being told that it's a toxic experience. What is happening? And what I've seen with the Jeff and Shaleia thing is they know very well what they're saying, and they are not they not they don't feel foul manipulating other people, like saying that yeah, you're lying to me, why are you lying to me? It's they're saying that it's not about them, but they want to help other people, but then make it all about themselves. It's like Jeff is acting like he is the prophet of everything, you know, and it's yeah, because he is the second coming of Jesus in physical form. Come on, it is so. Like, usually, if people are in a cult, it's a religious experience, and they're saying that they are God, or like they're connected in a sense with God. So what people do is that they are constantly they are looking for their divine partner. A lot of cults are kind of like that, or they say like, as a community, you can only keep it here. I've been told bad things as well within the spiritual communities, the twin flame communities. I don't want anything to do with it anymore, because it is literal. Usually, it's literally focus on other people and what they tell you, and not what you believe in. I started walking my own path. I'm very happy that I did, because it was not good. It was not okay. It was a very difficult experience. It was too much for me. Other people should believe whatever they believe in, but I found on my, well, then spiritual journey, I'm happy that I found that I'm not even that spiritual, but I'm interested in it, and I've been raised as such. So I want to talk about it. I want to discuss it, just like this video. I got a lot of signs when I thought I found my divine person. I was looking for, usually you're looking for like your perfect mirror image. I think that's very hard to find in another person. Your perfect mirror image is within you. It's not in another person. I think it's very hard to find. Cult leaders use the aspect of religion as and they use buzzwords such as love and togetherness and oneness. We are together in this, and they don't understand you. They drag you away from your family members and maybe your children. They make you believe certain things about yourself as well, and you don't know how to. You're not get to decide of your own life anymore. You are part of this community. You are part of this thing that is happening together. They don't understand it. Right there, they don't understand that. Maybe women are like lower than men. Women can be lower than men. Things are being shoved under the rug that are very important. I think it's crazy. Very terrible things happen in the dark, like in secret. Bad things happen. They're preaching it as it's love. It's togetherness. Yeah, it's not. I can tell you it's not. That is not what it is. I've had several experiences, and it's not. That is not what love is. You need to walk your own path. You find the right people for yourself, and the good people, because they're good people, even if they're not religious, they're good people in this world. Absolutely, there are. And there's also bad people, and I'm glad that I also have learned to differentiate it from good people, actual good people. I never, you also don't know sometimes what not good is, because you have been in a certain a web of community of belief systems that you think are good, and then they weren't good, because other people are showing you a mirror of yourself and what you're doing and what you believe in, and they're like, look at this, look at what is happening here. This is not good, and you see it's not good for you. It's not helping you to get better in yourself. I think that's where you get kicked into yourself again, where other people are showing you. That's what you really want to get to. Also, countries that are considered spiritual, they are abusing their idea. They're abusing it for so that people are gonna pay them a lot of money. Or yeah, I've seen videos and people visiting other countries, and they're well known because of their spiritual nature, that they are love and light people, and light, and they fool people into buying something. They fool people into spending a lot of money on religious or spiritual bull crap, and because they don't have money, or they want to use spirituality as a weapon. Or how many times people have been killed in the name of, killing in the name of. But how many times people have been killed in the name of a certain religion, or a leader, or whatever, it's it's crazy. But okay, so my conclusion is that you have crystals, and that you are meditating, and you're considering yourself a being of light, and maybe even a second coming of Jesus Christ himself, doesn't mean that you're a good person. Just because you are spiritual, you're not necessarily doing the right thing, maybe for yourself, and especially for a whole community. Maybe you can get a lot of money out of it. Maybe you can have power and manipulate people into believing what you want them to believe. Weak people are easy to manipulate. Weak people are easy to put under the thumb the way you want it. So, it's people I'm not. I don't want to bash spiritual people or practices, but I think it also does a lot of harm, and I really wanted to talk about that because I've been through it as well, and I wanted to talk about it because it's a lot of times people are considering spirituality or Christianity or religious practices as because that is happening, it's good, because God is being mentioned, it's good, and that's absolutely not true. People are getting abused, harassed, They feel very alone, away from their family members and from their family, and they get shunned when they are not talking as the rest of the group. It's like it's not free, it's not for you, it's not for them, it's not for the actual togetherness, the realness. Like I said, there are also people that are not religious, are not spiritual, are actual good people, and they don't have to practice it. Of course, I think being a good person is something you have to practice and continue. Try to do the best you can do. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I really want to say thank you very much. I love to talk to you. Share this video with other people that might have been in a cult and they have been a Jehovah's Witness in the past. My whole my whole channel is about Jehovah's Witnesses, so check it out. It's very nice if you are ex Jehovah's Witness and you wanna, or maybe you wanna get into the topic and want to see what is happening. Thank you very much. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely appreciate it because I really want to grow more. Feel free to comment and share. Thank you very much for watching and peace.